Now, most people don't talk about this, but there's a hidden fee in every poker game. It's called Rake. Think of it like a small service fee the platform takes from each pot. But here's the problem. On most sites, the rake is ridiculously high. This eats into your winnings, whether you're a beginner or pro. For example, microstake games often have a higher effective rake due to lower pot sizes and lower rake caps. So even with a percentage base rake, the cap might be reached less frequently, making the rake feel heavier on a hand per hand basis. So micros can be brutal. Then you've got like higher stakes. So as stakes increase, rake caps tend to increase as well. This means that players at higher stakes are more likely to hit the cap and the rake becomes a smaller percentage of the pot. And it's annoying, but if you're playing games under like, 100 NL, it's pretty capped on ignition, for example. But with that said, I hope that makes some sense, guys. But I am going to be getting into another good one here, playing some mid stakes, and had some pretty big spots to go over in this one. So stick around to the end, as I like to say. I also want to let you guys know that we have an awesome community where you can talk with me as well as other high level members in the pinned comment. A lot of good stuff in there. So I hope to see you in it. Also, if you guys could tap the like on this, and let's get right into these hands. Now we're basically going to be going hand for hand in this one. I want to say this lasted maybe for like 20 minutes, and I didn't play the greatest poker. I'll be honest, but we still got the job done here. This was a misclick. I meant to kick it up here, and the stuff happens. You know what I'm saying? So there's been times actually like where I've made some all in calls, and misclicked, and done some not so good things, but whatever. I Let's see how this one played. Obviously, we're going to be making a call here. Player two kicked it up to the 25-piece chicken nug, as I like to say. Um, Pretty dry board here, but I continued anyways. And we did end up hitting the queen on the turn, which is what we were looking for. We're also going to be blocking the flush draw here. We do have the queen of hearts. There's two hearts out there, so at this point, I have no idea what player two's got. So I kind of like had to think a little bit. He fired out pretty quick here. So I'm gonna, put the time bank on here, and I actually decided to shove on him. I couldn't really make sense of what he had, so this is the play I made. I was actually thinking maybe he's got a mid pocket pair, tens, jacks. Maybe he's got king queen here, and he makes the call. I don't know, but this is the play I made. It was pretty sneaky, and player two let it go. No idea what he had. The hearts actually got there, which was kind of interesting because we were blocking the hearts. But whatever, the hand's over. Let's not continue on with it. Let's keep moving forward, okay? Let's move forward, right? All right, a6 offsuit. Ended up folding this. And another thing too, guys, like the way I approach playing these games is probably going to be different than a lot of people, and the reason is because basically like the deeper you go into playing this game, you're going to start to learn and understand different strategies, and how to play a perfect pre-flop strategy, GTO, and all this stuff. But the way I like to approach playing is I like to use strategies against opponents. So it's like it's what I would call like exploiting opponents, right? Using their strategy against them. Like if I know they're, you know, a good example is if like let's say that I raise we'll say with like a jack 10 suited, and then somebody raises up to like 50 or 60. We could obviously be putting them on mid pocket pairs, a lot of ace king, ace queen suited type hands, and then we get some information, right? And then we make calls with hands that are kind of mediocre, but it allows us, as long as like the flops are missing a lot of those hands that I kind of already talked about, like you know uh we'll just say like higher pocket pairs, ace kings, ace queens, and then like we can make plays a lot of the time too. And this is the nicer thing too about like moving up in stakes. Bluffing becomes more effective. Bluffing at micro games, it's a lot harder because players are going to be more willing to call with second or third pair a lot of the time because you're playing for less. But like when you start to move up a little bit and it becomes a little bit more that you're playing with, bluffing becomes more effective. You know what I'm saying? There's a big difference between somebody stacking off 50 as opposed to stacking off 500. You know what I mean? So it is a little bit different. There's a little psychology that goes into it, which is another nice thing about playing mid stakes and kind of getting away from the micros. The micro games, the rake is going to be brutal, but like as you start to move up to like mid stakes, it's going to get capped. Um, so it's something to think about. Obviously, the competition is going to get a little bit harder, but at the same time, you also want to be improving and working on things, and hopefully winning more, right? All right, so here we had pocket nines. Not exactly sure what happened here. I want to say like it was another kind of like misclick limp, but nonetheless, I think this one is also going to work out in our favor anyways. So, you know, we're gonna we're gonna do our thing here. Now I'm pretty sure player four is going to kick it up here to like maybe 15 or 20. Clearly we're going to make the call, and I think the flop's going to be okay for this. Pretty safe for the most part. Oh man, the time bank. Yep. All right. So he kicked it up to 25. We're just going to make the call and, hopefully hit a nine, right? All right. So the board is 7, 7, 8. It's like, why couldn't that eight have been a nine? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. But whatever. It's all good. It's all good. We'll make do. Now he put out a continuation. Pretty small. Easy call. Turn card was a king. Didn't really like to see that. But if player four, you know, would have put something out again, I'm probably making the call. River card was a king, so I mean I'm fairly certain we're good here. It's actually okay checking this down to showdown. All right, he had ace high. Maybe I probably could have, put something out there, a little bit of value, and he probably would have called with ace high, more than likely, but whatever. It's over with. We can't redo it. You know what I'm saying? We gotta live with our decision right there, okay? We gotta live with it. Even though I don't like it, we gotta live with it. All right, ace 10, offsuit. Yeah, it's offsuit. All right, so we paired the ace, which is cool. Our kicker's pretty good too. Not a whole lot to worry about. We're also blocking a lot of like, straight draws. Because we have a 10, so we're gonna be blocking like jack 10, queen 10, 10. And if this guy puts something out there, obviously we're not going anywhere. We don't have any hearts. There's a hard draw out there, but we have top pair, 10 kicker. Enough said, right? So he checked it. Turn card was a 6. Checked it again. I'm expecting player one to put something out there. You know what I mean? Just because we're playing this so passively. So you would think that he would try to go for it here. We'll see what he does, though. All right, so he's really letting this run down. What is happening here? Oh man, I can't believe like make a decision. I can't believe this guy to put the time bank on. It's a turn. Look at that. He put out a five piece. You gotta be kidding me. All right, so the river card was a 7. I don't think we could be putting this guy on a 7, but once again, kind of gonna be going to showdown here. So whatever. Playing it safe for the most part to start things off, but like I said, don't go anywhere because this is gonna continue getting good, and we're gonna do our thing in this one. 100%. Wow. Okay, player one. Getting silly. All right. Oh yeah, 3-5 suited. We have a monster in the small blind right here. We got to make a move with this, right? We got the 3-5 suited. It's one of my favorite hands. I think 3-5 suited of hearts is probably like, one of my favorite hands. Don't ask me why. All right, so I just limped into this. Could have raised it. Let's see if player one raises it. I don't think he did. I think this one check. Let's see. Hope you guys are ready for this flop, though. No, he did raise it. So he kicked it up to 22. And we have the flop of the day right here. We hit trips, 3 kicker. Nothing to worry about here. The only hand that would be a cooler for us would obviously be up against pocket 10s. This guy could have a pocket pair, hopefully he has something like that. He continued the 28 here, and this is like a decision I had to do I want to fast play this or slow play it? And I decided to fast play. I kicked it up to 56 right away. I like the fast play here. It looks kind of bluffy, you know? All right, turn card was an 8. I'm kind of thinking this guy's got an overpair at this point. You know, maybe like jacks, queens, kings, and he's going to be in a pickle come this river card. So that's kind of what I'm putting him on. I'm hoping. Um, so if he does have an overpair or maybe like ace 10 or something, I think we might be able to get a call here and making this almost look like a bluff. And it was, we put a 200 piece out there. This was no small sizing, right? I mean, this is like we have it. Why would, if this guy really thinks it through, then there's no way we're just going to throw this out there if we don't have it, right? Plus, I min raised him. You guys got to remember that too. I wasn't expecting a call here. I really wasn't. But let's see what he's going to do. He called it. And I was like, wow, okay. And we didn't get to see what he had, unfortunately. I really would have liked to. But maybe let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he had like pocket jacks or pocket queens and he just couldn't fold it. I get it, guys. That would be a really tough fold. But I did give him a little information when I did that min raise on the flop that maybe I had the 5. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. Player 1 made a bad call there and it worked out for us. So like I said, man, the 3-5 suited, it is a monster. Okay, it's a monster, and we did our thing. All right, player 2 made it too big. I really wanted to make a call there with the ace 9, but calling that 70 piece, couldn't do it, guys. Couldn't do it. I wanted to though. It was just a little bit too much. It would have done like 40 or 50, probably make the call. All right, here at a 3-4 suited. Now I limped into this. I could have easily raised this up, but a lot of limping in this. And I think maybe my thinking was, okay, I guess we're just limping today and it's working out in our favor. So normally I don't do this at all, but today I did. And so far it's working. So when something's working, I guess just keep going with it. All right, player 1 is going to raise it up. And we actually had a really good flop here. So we have the flush draw, pair of threes, runner, straight cards, and, obviously flush cards. Really good flop for us. Question is, do I want to get aggressive with it, or do I just want to, kind of, play it a little bit more passive? Player 1 putting 27 out there. I think calling here is probably the right play. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm going to do. I think, yeah, okay. Really good turn card. It gives us an up and down straight draw, and we have the flush draw. I mean, it was a good card, guys. I'll take that for sure. Now let's see what happened on the river here, because I know it did get interesting. Kind of hoping player 1 doesn't do like a pot size here. He checked it, and look at that, guys. We got the 3 on the river. Talk about sneaky. So sneaky. And of course, we got to go for some kind of value, right? I mean, we got to do it. And I did. I went for like a pot size here. Looks kind of bluffy. I think if this guy's got like a pair of 10, a 10 or a 2, he might make the call. Who knows? Maybe ace king or something makes the call, right? Anyways, to bring this all home, hope you guys enjoyed some more hands in this one. I think we got a few more you could probably watch to the end, but I wanted to just kind of talk about Rake a little bit. And, of course, like I said, man, always putting out content, always playing these mid stakes. Check out the pinned comment for the community, tap that like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.